So at the darkest point in my life, I was a struggling addict and I was trying to take care of my daughter. Looking back on who I was, my parenting was, I didn't know what I was doing. I had no clue what I was doing. I was just basically trying to wing it. I really didn't have anybody that showed me how to be a parent. My parents, my dad was an alcoholic and my mom was a drug addict. I just wanted to go to sleep at night and not wake up anymore because I just didn't want to deal with the pain of using. I wanted to stop using and I didn't know how to. When I ran out of money and I needed money to basically pay rent and to get my drugs, I had my friends steal from my parents' house. That way I could have money to feed my daughter and get my drugs, and I ended up in jail. And that's when I met Debbie Armandi.
Stephanie was such a beautiful person. What I noticed most about her right from the beginning, she would come to my classes at Lerdo, and she came to every one of them. And so I started talking to her one-on-one, and you could just see there was such at that time, heaviness and brokenness and just so much going on in her life, and she wanted change. And so she was at the perfect place at the perfect time. Sometimes Lerdo is the place that God will bring you to get you to the place He needs you to listen to what He has for you.
When I met Debbie Armandi and listened to her talks and her testimony, and knew that I wanted what she had, she told me that it was God in her, is what it was, and so that's what I wanted. And I went to the chaplain while I was at Lerdo, and I got saved. And then shortly after that, Debbie told me about the mission. And I really thought about it and thought, you know what, I'm almost 4 months clean. I don't think I even really need a program. But then I just felt the Holy Spirit prompting me like, you do, you need a program. So I told Debbie, yeah, I would like to get into the mission when I get out of here. I was in the program and worried about what was going to happen with my daughter and still focus on my program. And so I explained to Debbie what was going on because she knew something was going on with me and she wanted to pray for me. And I told her that, I don't know what I need to do to get my daughter, but I almost want to leave the program so I can, just to make sure my daughter's safe. And Debbie said, well, how about if I take her until you complete the program?
I'm pretty sure I did tell her yes right then that we would do it. And then I went outside and went, ooh, now I'm gonna tell my husband. And he was actually really good with this, which surprised me because that you think those are kind of conversations you talk it over. Well, what it allowed was Stephanie to finish the program and not have to worry about her daughter. But what else it did is it taught us something that really hit home, because I was in foster care and I never really thought about what that was like in detail, like what it was like for me that first night, spending the night somewhere that I didn't know anybody. And so I could see that in her eyes when I put her to bed that night, like, where am I and what's going on? But what it also did for me was help me realize that we need to do something new on parenting. And so I went to the Lord and I said, we got to do something. How do we explain this to the men and women at the mission? And then also everywhere else, because this is a big concern. You just don't really understand. And I couldn't find any curriculum, and that's when the Holy Spirit just said, you're going to write it and you're going to put it together, and that's what happened. So it really all happened from Stephanie saying, I want you to do this, and looking in Haley's eyes and seeing how important it was for Haley that we do that also.
So life for my daughter has changed tremendously. She has her mom back, so she is overjoyed. We have a relationship that we've never had before. We have a connection we've never had before. And the best thing of all is I get to teach her about God's love and what God has done for me in my life. Life with my family, relationships with my family have been restored. I got a car, I got a job, I got my own place, I got my daughter back. I got married to a wonderful guy who loves me unconditionally. And now I even work at the mission in the Women and Children's Home, which is a big blessing for me. Debbie has just really changed my life. She has an unconditional love that she shows you with no strings attached. And for a lot of us, we're not used to that. And so when she comes in and shows you that love, it's just really a transformation in your life happens, a transformation in your heart happens.